All right, so let's continue our How Small Is It series. I think that's a pretty good name for it, where we take the most popular concealed carry guns and we compare them to other popular firearms in the market. We are not going to do any in-depth comparison. We'll save that for another day, for another video. We have plenty of those videos out there and more to come. But today's focus is the CZ P10S, and we're going to take the specs and put them up on the screen for y'all. We're going to talk about this gun compared to the Glock 26, the SIG P365XL, the Glock 19 Gen 4, the HK VP9 SK, and the P320 subcompact. And let's go ahead and get into this. All right, before we get started, I would like to thank our patron of the week, who is Mr. Brad Vincent. Been with us for a while over on Patreon, and we appreciate his support. If you would like to join our awesome community over there and get some exclusive content and some other perks, come check us out over on Patreon, where your support is not only needed, but our community over there is just awesome, and we'd love you to be a part of that. Like what we do here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when we come out with a brand new video. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the CZ P10S versus a lot of different options here. So let's start with the basic specs of this gun, and then we will walk around the table here. All guns have been safety checked, just so you know. Barrel length on this gun is 3.5 inches. Width is 1.2 inches. Height is 4.6 inches. Empty weight is how we're going to do this with a magazine, 24.4 ounces, and overall length is 6.6 inches. All right, that gives us our baseline. Let's start with the Glock 26. It's been around for a very long time. It was the standard of concealed carry for many years. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Of course, we got the specs up on the screen for y'all, but if we just look at them slide to slide, you can tell that the Glock 26 is definitely shorter. Let's look at the slide widths. Now on paper, they're about the same. It actually says the Glock 26. This is just the slide width. On the Glock 26 is an inch, and on the CZ is 1.2. But I think CZ is going off of an overall width, because you can tell they are very similar there. The CZ is a little bit wider, though, I think, overall. And then here's a big dimension. So if you're new to this whole thing and you're thinking, why is this guy even talking about this stuff? Height and weight are your biggest dimensions when you're carrying, especially inside the waistband carry. So that's why we do these, so you get an idea where this gun fits amongst other popular options, because little differences like this can make all the difference between you carrying every single day or it sitting in your safe every single day. So we want people that can legally carry to carry every single day. So if we look at the height difference here, so on the CZ, which is right here, you have 4.6. On the Glock 26, you have 4.1. Keep in mind, these are standard base plate magazines. Yeah, so you have right at a ½ inch difference, which is actually a pretty significant difference. Obviously, you can see that, but I want to rotate this and keep it straight. Now, you do have 12 rounds in the CZ and 10 rounds in the Glock 26, so you got to pick your poison. But this kind of difference, this is pretty significant, because 21.5 ounces unloaded on the Glock 26 and 24 here. That 3 ounces there, and then the ½ inch in the grip could be pretty significant, whether you're going to carry this gun every single day or not. So there's that one. Let's go to the P365XL. 2 12-round guns, by the way. Slide to slide. SIG counts that beaver tail. For this purposes, I'm not going to. Actually, I will, just in case we want to look at them overall. So overall on the CZ, again, we're at 6.6 inches, so 6.5. If we're at the P365XL, where are we at? We're at 6.5. So they're both the same overall length. Width-wise, you're at 1.2 overall here and 1.1 on the P365XL. That's not going to make or break anything. Let's look at them on their back. So the way they're listed on paper, and again, on paper it can be very deceiving. So we're at 4.6 height on the CZ. We're at 4.8 on the SIG. it doesn't look like even 2/10 of an inch to me. Let me rotate this around for y'all right there. It might be, but it's just right here at the front of the handguard or front of the magazine there. So there's your difference. For all intents and purposes, they pretty much are the same size all the way around. The CZ is a little bit wider, and it looks a little bit beefier, but really, they're not too much different, are they? Let's go to the P320 subcompact. All right, I've had this gun for a long time now, actually. And if we compare them, again, let's try to keep it consistent. CZ here, SIG here. Again, I think SIG is going to count that little bit of a beaver tail, but we'll do it slide to slide. Yeah, because if you look at the overall length of the P320, they're at 6.7, and CZ is at 6.6, so maybe they're not even counting that beaver tail there. And there's your little bit of a difference there. Width-wise, the P320, to me, it actually looks a lot wider, and it's at 1.4 compared to 1.2. So this is pretty obvious that 2/10 of an inch actually does make quite a bit of difference in these small dimensions where normally it would not. It definitely does when we're talking about firearms there. So pretty significant looking, actually. Let's check out the heights. So on paper, we're at 4.6 here, and we're at 4.7 on the P320 subcompact. Just 1/10 of an inch, and they're both 12-round guns, and you can really see that right there. All right, just 1/10 of an inch difference separates these two. Now, you do have 24.5 ounces here and 25 ounces here, and then on the P365XL, you actually have 20.7 ounces here compared to 24. That's the main difference between the CZ and the P365XL. Really, compared to the SIG, the biggest difference you have is that little bit of a width difference. Let's take it over the HK VP9 SK. Fantastic gun. I've had this one for a while too now. On the CZ, overall length, again, is going to be 6.6. On the HK VP9 SK, you're at 6.6. So essentially the same, and they look pretty much the same there. So overall width, 1.3 over here and 1.2 here on the CZ. So they look different, but you have these little charging gears on the HK. If you haven't seen our review of this gun, go over and check it out. But it looks wider because of that. But 1.3, 1.2, again, you have to be careful with some manufacturers because some only list the slide width while others do overall width. So it can be kind of deceiving when you're looking at that. Doesn't make the biggest difference. No, it doesn't. But you know, it could. It might. I mean, that's what causes your pants to stick out. So if that bugs you, that could be a big difference. Let's look at them on their backs. So these are pretty even across the board. CZ here, HK VP9 SK here, and the height is 4.5 with the standard base plate on the HK, and then 4.6 on the CZ. Again, I don't know how they're measuring them because if I'm looking at them like this, they look dead nuts even across the board. All right, so there you go. Don't know how that's measured, but there you go. The HK to me just looks like a bigger gun. Does it not? I don't know. Leave me a comment down below in the comment section. Let me know which one you think looks bigger. I think because you can adjust this grip and you can make this, you can really put a different backstrap here and you can adjust the panels here. That, of course, is going to adjust the width and everything. It just looks like a bigger, beefier gun, but it's really not when you compare it side by side like we're doing. This is a 10-round gun compared to a 12-round gun. This one, of course, has been out for a couple of years, but you can see that CZ was able to squeeze 2 more rounds out of this gun, even compared to this HK. So that gives you something to compare it to there. That's going to be the biggest difference is you got the same size grip with 2 more rounds on the CZ, and it is a little bit heavier though. So 23 ounces over here on the HK compared to 24.4 on the CZ. Now one more I want to bring in here, the Glock 19. This is a Gen 4, but it's going to be fairly consistent across the board. Glock 19, CZ P10S. slide to slide. So overall, again, 6.6 and 7.2 on your Glock. So where this may make a big difference is like appendix carry, or if you sit down a lot and move around a lot, that may make a big difference for you there. Width, 1.2 here on the CZ and 1.3 on the Glock. And then if we put them on their backs, this is pretty crazy actually. So you have 12 rounds here, 15 rounds in the Glock 19. Again, this is just flush magazines. And if we put them like that, you can tell the CZ, which is right here on the left, is height 4.6. And on the Glock 19, it's right at 5 inches. So almost a half of an inch there between those two. And that will make a big difference inside the waistband, no doubt. So we just covered a lot of different guns there to give you an idea where the CZ P10S fits in the scheme of things. Let me know what you think about this comparison down below. We had some pretty interesting things we found out here. And to me, it's different to look at these guns side by side, slide to slide, and look at them as opposed to just reading specs across the board, because sometimes they can be deceiving. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you're a power patron up, look for your outro coming right after this. We'll see you in the next one. And as always, hold 'em down.